Hey guys, Lucido here. Now I want to start off by saying that if you do know me personally, or maybe you come onto my streams a couple of times, I have mentioned in the past I do want to get into graphic design. I like the idea of it. Also doing like commission work does sound like a lot of fun. Um, Plus, if you've seen my stream, everything from my panels, my overlays, and my scene transition, even ones in the past, I have made by myself. I just feel like it'd be not easier, but it'd be better for me to learn how to do it instead of paying someone else to do it, which, someone else could do a good job, but they can't get, my vision in kind of like how to get it done. So I decided to teach myself how to start getting into graphic design. Today, I mainly want to talk about my transition specifically. Now, this one was actually a challenge that I've, kind of put myself through just because it was something brand new that I wanted to learn. Now, if you've gone to my stream, you will definitely see that my transition looks like this. And normally, like in the past, I have used Adobe After Effects because I made a plan with a friend where we would pay the subscription half and half. And even though it did work, I really hated that Adobe turned into subscription based. So even though I loved using it, even though it was really easy, it just wasn't free. And I would much rather pay like $200-300 for a permanent license, but they didn't have that option. So I decided to look around, see what else there was. Now, I'd say Mac or Apple does have a bit more options, like Apple Motion, I've heard is really good. Now, Windows doesn't really have Apple Motion, obviously. So I found something and I tried something new. So disclaimer, this is not a tutorial. I am still learning how to fully use it, but I downloaded Davinci Resolve. It is this free program that you use to basically, I think the main purpose is to edit videos. And you can also make little visual effects, or in this case, transitions with the little fusion tab, or I guess what they call Blackmagic Fusion. I don't know. Now, it is great. I do love it, but the thing is, the issue is that it is very intensive on the computer. Now, I have a RTX 2070, and then I actually had to upgrade my RAM from 16 to 32 gigabytes, or else Fusion would just not work for my computer at all. So it is very intensive on the computer. So if you do have a weak computer, I definitely don't recommend even trying this out. There's some lighter options like Shotcut for video editing, transition, or visual effects. I don't really know what to recommend, but this was just kind of my issue, and I had to upgrade my RAM in order to start using Fusion. Now, the main difference that I will show here is with Adobe After Effects, it is what's called layer-based. That's at least from what I've heard. Now, with layer-based, as you can see on what I'm showing, it definitely seems much easier to organize things, where you kind of have everything stacked upon each other, and whatever's on top takes priority, whatever's at the bottom is in the background, and that sort of thing. Really easy to just organize it. Now, it's simple, it's clean, but like I said, it's not free. So Fusion, or Blackmagic Fusion, does something different. They call it node-based, or again, that is what I heard, node-based, and it is very weird. Let me show you right now. Okay, so here we are in Davinci Resolve in the Fusion tab. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, it says Fusion right there. Now, like I said, this is node based, so obviously this looks very different than Adobe After Effects. It looks very different. Like maybe the inspector is pretty similar, but that is about it. So I want to show you guys kind of how it works. Instead of it being layer based, how there's, everything stacked upon each other. Like I said before, you have to basically create these nodes that will basically interact with each other by tether. So the first thing here is background. This is kind of like the most basic thing that you're going to use, kind of like where you're going to choose your color. So let's do blue, for example. And obviously you're seeing can't see anything right now. So you actually have to click on one of these black circles down here at the bottom. And then now you'll see it. Anyways, now that you know that the background is blue, the issue is that backgrounds, you can't move at all. It's just kind of stuck that way. Let's say if you wanted to do a square or a circle or something, Well, then you have to add something else where rectangle. All right, you just made a new node, which I'm going to disconnect this right now. So right now you have a new node where you can see the lines of the rectangle. You can move it, you can expand it, change it around, right? But it's not, it's just clear basically at this point. So then now, in order to have the rectangle interact with the background, you basically have to grab this little gray square, and you have to grab this little gray square, and then you just connect it there. So then now the rectangle that you're seeing here is now blue. And when you move it around, it moves, it just moves like the way it should, like how you wanted it to be. Which this is kind of like, okay, here's the first step. Now I have one square. Well, then what if I want two squares? Okay, well then this is how we do it. We add another background, and then we change the color to red. And then let's say we want to copy that. So let's say we're going to connect this rectangle to the red background, and obviously you won't see it. So then let's click on this blue dot, and then, or black dot, now it's white. And now you have this red circle. Obviously you won't see them together because they're not connecting together yet. You have the blue on the left because I selected it to be on the left, to be viewed on the left. Then you have the red on the right because I selected it to be viewed on the right. Now let's say if you want to see them both at the same time, then you have to grab a node that will make it so those two interact with each other. And that is what's called a merge node, which obviously is just called merge. Now this one has a lot more different like inputs, I guess. If you just hover over the mouse, you have effect mask, which I still don't fully know what that is. You have the background, then you have the foreground, which respectively background is behind, foreground is in front. So let's say I want the blue behind the red. So let's connect the yellow is the background, right? Let's connect the blue into the background. Let's connect the red into the foreground. And then now let's click on the black dot to see them both together. And then now you see both squares at the same time. Now you can move them around to make so that you can tell how they look together. So this is kind of when you want to see multiple things at once, this is pretty much as simple as it can get. Which, like this, it's pretty understandable. But then with the transition that I showed you earlier that I made, you can get into this mess that I'm going to show you on the screen now. So I know it looks overwhelming. It looks like a giant spider web, and that's because it kind of is a giant spider web. You kind of have to connect things specifically to make sure they work on the right layer or they have the correct effects. And then you have to put them in a specific order so that they are interacting with each other correctly. If for some reason one specific part is wrong, it could mess up the whole order. It's very weird. I had to rewatch a tutorial over and over and over again. I'll put a link on that tutorial below because I actually really liked it, and that's kind of how I made my transition and followed up on it. It can be very confusing. So like I said, the node aspect of it is kind of freaking me out, not gonna lie. I do still want to continue learning about it because I think it's something new and could be useful in the future, especially if I want to start making transitions for commissions. But like I said, it is very different than After Effects, and it can be very confusing. It does look like a lot of fun, and maybe I can organize it in the way that works best for me. Basically, I just wanted to show you guys something new that I've been starting to learn. I'm thinking I might, kind of do this normally where I try to learn something new and I kind of make a video about it, kind of my experience. I still recommend, like, if you have the money, do After Effects. It's just easier to kind of look at, to not be as confused. But if you don't have the money, or you just don't want to pay for the money, something like Fusion could be really cool to learn. So I just kind of want to show this around, show you what I was working on, and I've been really enjoying it. I'm actually thinking of starting to do commissions soon. But yeah, I just wanted to show pretty much what I've been learning. That is pretty much it for me, guys. I also stream every Thursday. That's kind of my regular schedule now. I might stream random other days, but Thursday is kind of like my set point. I don't have a good time yet, but I'll figure that out later. Anyways, my stream is twitch.tv/Lucido. You can catch me there, like I said, any Thursday. And I hope you guys have a good week. Goodbye.